Welcome to this demo where I'll show you how to host a Silverlight application in a SharePoint web part. We're going to open up a Visual Studio 2008 project that already has a XAML application or a Silverlight application defined in it. It has a canvas with a gradient color on the background. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply add in a text block, set the font, the properties of the font, and also go ahead and put in an event handler. So by dropping the text block on here, we can define in the properties several of the attributes, but more particularly the mouse left button event handler. Once we type that in, we can right click directly in the XAML file and create the event handler in .NET code. Get a hold of it here. So this will create the code for us, an event handler in the CS file associated to this XAML file. And we can see that by scrolling down a little bit here to look at the event handler. There we have it. And all we're going to be doing is changing the text block to read I am clicked. So very simple code to just respond to the click event of the mouse, but only the left button down event. Alright, so we're ready to build it, compile it, and we have compiled a Silverlight application. Nothing to do with the web part yet. It will create a ZAP file, an XAP file that will eventually be pushed out to the web server. This is nothing more than a zip file that contains all the specifics. Alright, we also have another project open. Switch over to a second Visual Studio project, which is a webpart project. This webpart project will be hosting the Silverlight application. So of course it needs to be able to create child controls, and the most important thing to create in the child controls will be the Silverlight control coming from the other DLL, the other application. So in the onload event of this particular web part, we're also going to make sure that there is a script manager on the page. So we check to see if the script manager is there using scriptmanager.getCurrent. If it is null, then we're going to instantiate a new script manager and add it to the web part. Then in create child controls, we're going to instantiate the hello Silverlight control by referring to it in the source, point to the ZAP file, the XAP file. And notice that this is going to be in the client bin folder of the web server. So we have to make sure we deploy that XAP file to the appropriate location so this web part can find it and locate it and paint it on the page. Alright, so we build and deploy this web part to get it to the SharePoint server. The build and deployment succeeded. And we go to the ZAP file and notice that in our path, we're on the server, there is a client bin folder, and there we have the XAP or ZAP file located in the proper place. So it has been deployed correctly. Now any reference to that in a web part or really any web page in the SharePoint site will trigger that Silverlight application. So we go to the browser and go to the topmost site in the site collection at SPVM, and when this site comes up, we're going to introduce this web part by going under Site, Actions, Edit Page. We're going to click on Add Web Part here in the left web part zone. This will bring up a list of web parts, and if we scroll down, we'll find our new web part called Hello Silverlight 2 Web Part. Check it, click Add, and that brings it into this page at the top of the zone. It also goes ahead and paints the original rendering of this text block. Then there it is. We click on it. It should run the code associated to the click event, and I am clicked now appears. And there you have it. A very simple example of how to host a Silverlight application in a SharePoint web part. This concludes this demo.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you'd like to see additional content, the entire course is available for free at myrampup.com.